10th of August, the year of the Lord 2026. From wherever you're watching us in Kenya and around the world, you are in time for Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Well, we have an update on the murder case of renowned Dr. Victoria Mutiso. Also, we have the latest in the world of business.
That's right, and also in the world of sports, Kenya finishes second overall at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships being held in Oregon in the United States of America.
All that's coming up, but first, the highlights.
Accordingly, we have agreed to establish a joint team comprising 5 members from each party to develop a common manifesto.
Road to 2027.
ODM and UDA alliances take shape as 10-member team set to draft a joint manifesto, with President Ruto expressing optimism they will win the next poll. Political drumbeats.
Opposition leaders scale up a charm offensive amid fresh calls for implementation of the NADCO report.
The commander at that respective area should be able to tell us what's going on. It's about accountability.
Clamp down on goons.
Civil societies demand decisive action, warning rising lawlessness is threatening national security.
Thank you so much from wherever you're watching. My name is Mboya.
I am Muchuma. Irene, thank you for your time. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Our sign language expert tonight is Caroline Njoroge.
Straight to our lead story tonight. President William Ruto says that the broad-based government is firmly positioned to win the 2027 general poll, saying that the opposition has proven itself lacking in both strategy and also unity.
Speaking in Naivasha during a consultative forum with leaders within the broad-based arrangement, the head of state took a swipe at the opposition, describing them as a disjointed alternative with no clear vision for the country.
Well, he urged government-aligned allies to capitalize on the visible rifts within the opposition to sell their agenda and also focus on delivering their promises to Kenyans.
Here is Abdi Aziz Hashim with the details.
Members of Parliament, governors, senators, cabinet secretaries and luminaries of the ruling United Democratic Alliance and the Orange Democratic Movement convened in Naivasha, Nakuru County for a retreat. It is here that President William Ruto and Odim leader Oburu Oginga took a swipe at the opposition.
The other side is in chaos. I don't have to say that. I don't have to explain.
And we are not shy about it. We want to make policies which will take us to Singapore.
The head of state has said the opposing leaders have a no proven track record in enhancing development.
The alternative, I shudder because a group of people who have no plan, no agenda, is too dangerous for Kenya.
He said the government is positioned to win and shall share its policies with Kenyans.
By God's grace, we must win the next election. Inshallah, we must win the next election. Not for your sake, for the sake of Kenya.
We'll catapult this great community of ours, of ODM and ODA, to power next year in 2027.
The president further revealed that the broad-based government was not formed 2 years ago, but after the 2022 polls.
Because I knew and I realized it was my intention to bring the country together I did engage the Honorable Raila Odinga immediately after the election.
Hii broad-based, Mheshimiwa Rais, imetusaidia sana, imeturahisishia kazi ya siasa na hata kazi ya kukusaidia kuendesha serikali ambayo unaongoza.
Because we want to know who is with us and who is not with us. If you are not with us, you are not with us. If you are with us, you are with us. And let's speak very, very frankly.
Odim leader Oburu Oginga, in his statement, said that the Orange Party is an equal partner in the broad-based arrangement and is not playing second fiddle to the ruling party as claimed by a section of leaders.
We deliberately and consciously decided that our country will not go to the dogs when some people went to the streets to try to change the government through the streets.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, a 10-member committee is set to be named to draft a joint manifesto and direct the political direction of the broad-based government ahead of the upcoming general election.
The announcement was made at the start of a 3-day strategy retreat bringing together broad-based government leaders led by President Ruto and ODM leader Oburu Oginga.
Once integrated, the team is expected to come up with a unified coalition framework, which will, among others, detail the political structure.
Here's our report.
Accordingly, we have agreed to establish a joint team comprising 5 members from each party to develop a common manifesto that we shall ultimately place before the Kenyan people in the 2027 general election. The Orange Democratic Party has nominated Mr. Isaac Wanuge, Ms. Mariam Abdullahi Mbaruk, Ms. Leonida Kerubo Omosa, Engineer Kare Oregonian, and Kare Orege, and Professor Bernard Mwok, with the ODM Executive Director serving as an ex-official member. Kenya Kwanza has nominated Mr. Emmanuel Nzai, Dr. Daniel Mwai, Mr. Bramwell Simiyu, Mr. Mohamed Hassan, and Dr. Cecilia Ngetich, with the UDA Executive Director serving as an ex-official member. Myself and Dr. Oburu will each nominate another 5 members from each political party and formation to a second joint team to prepare the coalition framework agreement, recommend the principles and governance structures that will guide our partnership, and propose the leadership arrangements necessary to take this coalition forward.
And then there will be a framework team which will now work on the coalition, which will include sharing of power. As we move on forward, those who thought that ODM was going to be swallowed, I tell them, oh.
An update now on that murder case. A police officer and 2 civilians linked to the murder of renowned mental psychiatrist Dr. Victoria Ndunya Mutiso on the 29th last month have been detained for 30 days to allow investigations to take place.
The trio, who are arraigned in court on Monday, bring to 6 the total number of suspects implicated in his killing.
Now, as Ruth Mboya reports, the court has ordered the suspects to be detained at separate police stations as officers conduct forensic analysis and record statement from witnesses, including a spouse, Professor David Ndetei.
3 suspects were ushered into the dock at the Milimani's Magistrate Court in Nairobi in connection with the killing of mental psychiatrist Dr. Victoria Ndhunya Mutiso. The arraignment comes barely 72 hours after the Director of Public Prosecutions issued the green light for them to answer to the charges.
Touching the matter in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help.
Investigating Officer Romano Odor informed the court preliminary investigation put Police Constable Elijah Kibelion Kimoy and 2 civilians, Daniel Mwangi Njoroge and Kevin Ngugi Kinuthia, at the scene of the crime.
One of the principal witnesses in the matter is the husband of the deceased, who has not yet recorded his statement due to the trauma that he underwent, and as per last week, he was still not in a fit state to record his statement, Your Honor. And if the respondents are released before he records his statement, they might intimidate or even compromise the quality and the completeness of evidence, Your Honor.
The court was also informed due to the complexity of the matter and public attention, they require 30 days to complete investigation into her death.
Your Honor, preliminary investigations have also established that there is a dispute involving land, LR number 1504/13. The same is currently before Machakos Law Court.
The prosecution informed the court some of the suspects, including serving police officers, are still at large, and CCTV footage and other firearms suspected to have been used in a killing were undergoing forensic analysis.
The threshold has been met for the safe limitation. The complexity and sophistication of how this offense was committed, 30 days is reasonable.
Their arrest was through an intelligence-led investigation. These were not people who surrendered themselves. It took state resources to trace them.
Trial Magistrate Paul Mutai, in allowing the 30 days, issued instructions on their remand.
First respondent, you will be detained at Ruaraka Police Station. Second respondent, you will be detained at Pangani Police Station. The third respondent, you will be detained at Kigiri Police Station. In the event investigations are concluded before expiry of 30 days, the state may present the respondents before this court for further directions.
Dr. Mutiso was fatally shot 12 days ago in Upper Hill, Kilimani, Nairobi County. The case is set for mentioning on 10 September 2026. After a fortnight of combing investigation by DCI detectives and handing the 3 prime suspects to the court, what the family and the whole country now is to say is whether the 3 will be charged with murder after the 1 month probe. Reporting from Milimani's Law Court, I'm Ruth Wamboy.
Well, from the court back to broadcasting house here in Nairobi, Kenya. It's exactly 12 minutes past the top of the hour. Coming up on this broadcast.
Well, we'll be taking you back to the courts. And Tom, have you heard about Water, Culture and Games Festival?
Water, Culture, Games Festivals. 3 parts.
Hold on. We'll be taking you to Kericho County for details on that and much more with the clarity you deserve.
I actually wanted to answer that, but it's okay. Plus, we're also going to bring you a story on the civil society there, demanding that government does something about the political gangs, or better still, goons in the political culture in this country. All that coming up. Stay with us.
Many workers access their retirement benefits when switching jobs, unaware of the impact it has on their future. Taking out your retirement savings too soon reduces the income you will have when you retire, leaving your future less secure. Have you thought about the lifestyle or income you want to retire with? The earlier you start saving, the better. And the more you save, the more secure your future will be. Increase your savings today and live your golden years the way you've always dreamed. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800 720 300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
At JKUAT, we have always been guided by our vision to be a university of global excellence in training, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship for sustainable development. Our faculty and students continue to excel with recognitions in computer science, engineering, material science, and medicine, law, among others. We lead Kenyan universities in intellectual property assets. To the class of August 2026, go forth and shine. Congratulations once again.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. On to other developments, Tom.
That's right. Civil society groups are demanding urgent accountability and strict law enforcement to deal decisively with the rise of political gangs ahead of next year's poll.
Led by the International Commission of Jurists, the rights bodies want security agencies to immediately clamp down on incitement and criminal networks and ensure all perpetrators of political violence face swift prosecution.
Here's that report.
On Monday, the International Commission of Jurists Kenya section and the Center for Human Rights and Policy Studies convened for a national multi-stakeholder meeting to confront the growing threat of political goonism as the electioneering period beckons. The lobby group faulted security agencies and other relevant bodies for what they say is failing to fully enforce the law and deal with those sponsoring the goons and inciting violence.
If we begin to count from 2023 protests to 2024 protests to 2025 and now 2026, we would have hoped as citizens that today we would have many more organizers, financiers, mobilizers behind bars.
They are warning the trend has mutated into a wider threat to the country's democracy, with organized gangs being used to intimidate voters, attack demonstrators, disrupt public forums, and silence political dissent.
Because at the heart of this problem is impunity, is the protection that those who are responsible for financing and mobilizing these crimes are enjoying. And so our call to action is we want to break this chain of impunity.
Most importantly, the absence of state actors, the absence of accountability mechanisms in being central in providing solutions and being central in violence prevention mechanisms is a key gap here.
They are now calling for action against those who recruit, finance, and deploy political gangs.
Where we have a problem, say, in one part of the country, and we've had issues of who's around there, then the commander at that respective area should be able to tell us what's going on. It's about accountability. So we're moving on from just issuing statements or just saying things to actual to action that is oriented towards prosecution.
We continue to engage with the National Police Service to ensure that the kind of policing that we see, even during, whether it's during public management or during elections, is safe for the citizen.
Meanwhile, Transparency International Kenya is spearheading the operationalization of the Election Campaign Financing Regulations 2026, recently gazetted by the Independent Election Body. They say this will help enhance accountability, clamp down on graft, and spells out contributions and spending limits in the upcoming polls.
So while building synergies with other relevant electoral management bodies, we call upon the IEBC to lead in enabling implementation and oversight to solidify this constitutional aspiration through the enforcement of the Election Campaign Financing Act and the attendant regulations.
We call upon IEBC to effectively coordinate with other oversight and law enforcement agencies to put in place measures for implementation and enforcement of the contributions and spending limits and ban the misuse of public resources.
On to political Monday. Political drumbeats continued to reverberate today with the Linda Mwananchi faction led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna pledging to use the Constitution as its manifesto in governing the country.
Now this comes as DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua pitched tent in Nairakia in Kare town for a Meet the People tour.
And as opposition continued its charm offensive, a Kiambu-based lobby group is calling for the implementation of the National Dialogue Committee report ahead of the planned launch of the Vision 2060 on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, Timothy Kipnusu is our man on that story.
With 364 days left for the country's next poll, opposition leaders continue to traverse the country hunting for votes.
I am able to be the governor of Kitui County from August 10, 2027.
The Linda Mwananchi faction was in Kitui for the launch of Senator Enoch Wambua's race for the governor. It is here that the leaders pledge to use the Constitution as their manifesto in driving change in the country.
Ile manifesto ambayo watu wanataka ya serikali iko tayari ndani ya katiba yetu. Ukiangalia preamble ya katiba yetu inatuambia Wakenya baada ya kuumia miaka mingi chini ya udikteta walikuwa wanataka mambo sita muhimu. Ya kwanza ni demokrasia, ya pili ni uhuru wa wananchi, ya tatu ni haki za kibinadamu, ya nne ni ile wanaita utawala wa sheria, ya tano wanasema social justice, ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba wale watu ambao wamekuwa kikandamizwa muda huu wote pia wanapewa nafasi.
At the same time, DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua was on Nairakia in Kare town in Narok County.
Mimi nataka niambie polisi, wale ambao mnaua watu, mwaka ujao nikiwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, mtakamatwa na mtaenda kotini. Na mimi niambie wewe Mohamed Amin, wewe tutakuchunguza next year.
Meanwhile, in Kiambu County, a lobby group has called for the implementation of the National Dialogue Committee report ahead of the launch of Vision 2060. They argue this will ease political tension and promote stability.
Kama tunavyojua hii NADCO report ilileta upande ya serikali na upande ya upinzani kukua kitu kimoja, na wakaweza kujadiliana namna ambavyo shida ambazo ziko katika serikali na zinazoumiza Wakenya zinaweza kupunguzwa.
Watuletee hii NADCO report wa implement, kama sivyo Kalonzo na Ishungwa walitumia pesa za serikali, pesa nyingi sana, na kama hasa wameanza kupanda kwa gari kusema ni nani atakuwa president, ni nani atafanya nini, hiyo mambo hatutaki.
Elsewhere, Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka has emphasized the need for urgent reform at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Kalonzo is expressing concern over the use of the Smartmatic system, whose contract expired, and warning against any attempts to reintroduce it under a different name.
I think you need to make noise. Before you talk of Vision 2060, Bwana Ruto, tupatie high ground force. Because that is where we shall irrigate all the land up to Tana River and Garissa. Let us call him out in a nice way. Mukionyesha msimamo, mutaletua dhuluma pia. Because the country has also given the clergy, huko musirudi tena. Misri tumetoka, tunaelekea Canaan.
He was speaking in Kitui after attending prayers. organized by the Kenya Clergy Alliance in conjunction with the Kitui County Clergy Leadership. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Now on to the scales of justice. Dennis Masoba Nyambane, a surgeon at Kiambu Level 5 Hospital accused of stabbing his wife to death with a kitchen knife, will remain in police custody for 7 days.
This is after a Kiambu court okayed the prosecution's plea to detain the suspect as investigations continue into the death of his spouse, Mary Mwende Mtie.
Mwende is reported to have died on the spot following the incident, leaving behind a 3-year-old son.
Here is that report.
The suspect will remain in custody as detectives continue probing the circumstances leading to the fatal stabbing of the late Mary Mwende Mtie. A visit to the apartment at the scene of crime showed bloodstains on the staircase where the deceased is believed to have collapsed while attempting to flee the house. The caretaker Isaac Omare, in recounting the incident, said he was alerted by a neighbor of the incident and rushed to the scene where he found the suspect unresponsive and called the police.
Jana usiku ilikuwa kitu kama saa 2:30. Huyu mama jirani alikuja huko chini ya huyu mjamaa akiitana hadi muende mtafuta ambulance. Sasa wakati nilitoka nje nilikuja hapa juu ngakuta huyu mama huyu bwana yake ametunga yeye kisu.
He said the family had only lived in the apartment for about 2 weeks before the incident had occurred. Neighbors also gave a similar account.
Bibi yake ilikuwa alimduga kisu moja ya roho. Ni mgogoro tu za nyumba ziko na maneno na inafaa kama imeshindikana watu tu waachane juu sasa huyo msichana amekufa bure, ameacha mtoto wake 3 years.
The suspect is expected to undergo a mental assessment at Kiambu Hospital before taking plea. An autopsy on the body of the deceased will be conducted at Kenyatta Referral Hospital to establish the cause of death. Bruce Mayoyo for Prime Edition.
All right, onto that story we teased for you before we took the commercial break. Calls for sustainable water management in the wake of changing weather patterns dominated the start of the 2026 Water Culture and Games Festival in Kericho County.
Now, the 5-day festival, which kicked off Monday, has attracted over 40 water companies and nearly 5,000 participants.
Now, our reporter Aaron Marie has details of the festival, which seeks to raise awareness on the threats of climate change to water management.
For 5 days, the Kericho TTC grounds will become a meeting point for players for conversation, culture, and collaboration in enhancing. More than 5,000 participants from over 40 water companies have converged for the 2026 Water Culture and Games Festival. Organized by the Water and Sanitation Providers Association, WASPA, in partnership with the Kericho Water and Sanitation. This year's festival has expanded its reach.
It is going to have around 21 disciplines spread across several places. Kipsigis Girls is among them. Kericho Day is also among the places that the activity will take place. We have the temple for the in-house sporting activities, and here is the main event.
Bringing in new participants.
We also have national government parastatals participating this year. We have Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency, Athi River Waterworks Development Agency, National Water and Harvesting Authority, among others.
The country water security was part of the conversation.
Issues of water resource management is very, very key for us because climate change is real. Kenya is a water scarce country, and therefore if we don't take seriously adaptation and mitigation measures, then we'll find that there's no water in future.
WASPA Chairman Thomas Odongo says water resource management must take center stage as Kenya grapples with the effect of climate change and increasing pressure on its water resources.
We are happy that there's a clarion call led by the President that we are supposed to plant 15 billion trees. As WASPA, you saw our first activity here was to plant and grow trees.
The festival brought together professionals who spend their days managing one of the country's most critical resources and allowing them to build relationships, share experiences and strengthen teamwork away from their usual workstations.
Maji ni ile tunaitaka shared responsibility. Tukiwa hapa tuko na all the partners, stakeholders, kuanzia county, national government, water works agencies, water service providers, hata na wananchi. Kwa hivyo tukiwa hapa tukishirikiana pamoja ndio tutakuwa njia ya kuweza kupata maji pale manyumbani.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Aaron.
On to Education Watch now. Basic Education Principal Secretary John Ololtua is challenging stakeholders across the education sector to take a proactive role in safeguarding stability and peace in schools.
Speaking at Hema Chitago Senior School in Masaba South Sub-County, Kisii County, the Principal Secretary highlighted the government's efforts to enhance the teaching environment and resource allocation through enhanced capitation. He further revealed that teacher promotions are this year's budget, a strategic move aimed at improving teachers' morale and enabling career progression. He called on parents, community leaders to partner with the Ministry of Education to maintain harmony in schools.
Ni mambo ya walimu. Hiyo mambo ya promotion, mnajua ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais ameweka hiyo budget na TSC imeshatangaza. Tutatembea pamoja na TSC tuone kile tunaweza kuwafanyia. Ombi langu tu ni moja, ya kwamba tushikane pamoja, amani ikuwe katika mashule yetu, tabia nzuri ikuwe katika mashule zetu, na mambo ya kusoma vizuri. Sisi kama serikali tutafanya jukumu yetu, na nyinyi pia mfanye jukumu yenu.
Je, umehangaika miaka mingi kulipa rent kila mwezi? Ukalipa na bado inabidi ulipe tena, na umechoka kulipa rent hiyo katika nyumba isiyo yako? Usijali, imagine sasa unaweza pata makao yako. Serikali imejenga affordable zako. Process ni rahisi. Una apply, unalipa deposit, unahamia, unalipa pole pole. Sasa kila Mkenya akona nafasi murwa ya kusema huku ni kwangu. Time ya sasa ni time ya kumove in kwa keja yako. Your key, your house, your time. Jisajili leo kwa mpango wa Affordable Housing Program na upate makao kwa jina lako. Tembelea tovuti yetu ya www.bomayangu.go.ke au fika site iliyo karibu nawe kote nchini. Pata makao na Boma Yangu.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. Now, this is a big one. 3 Kenya Broadcasting Corporation journalists have been fitted for excellence during the 2026 Wezesha Awards.
Y254 Morning Talk show host Eliza Kimani, Mayenga FM presenter Peter Wasonga, and Pwani FM news anchor Morina Kinyi were recognized for their respective roles in informing and educating the public.
Take a look.
It was a moment of celebration for the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation as 3 of its broadcasters' top honors at the 2026 Wezesha Awards. Y254 morning talk show host Eliza Kimani was named TV Host of the Year, recognized for her work in engaging audiences through the youth. KBC Mayenga FM presenter Peter Wasonga also walked away with the title of Radio Host of the Year award, earning recognition for his contribution to radio broadcasting. Meanwhile, Pwani FM news anchor Maureen Akinyi was crowned News Anchor of the Year, completing KBC's strong showing across television, radio and news broadcasting. The three awards highlight the diverse talent within KBC and the corporation's continued programming and broadcasting talent. The Wazesha Award Gala brought together players from the media and entertainment industry to celebrate individuals who have distinguished themselves through professionalism, creativity and impact.
Let's now settle down to some business
news. Family-owned businesses should begin succession planning early to safeguard wealth and ensure enterprises survive across generations.
Experts warn that many family businesses focus on corporate governance and professionalizing their operations while overlooking governance, which can determine whether a business is successful or it is not.
Here is that report.
Only 3 in 10 family businesses make it to the second generation, while just 1 in 10 survives. To ensure continuity, family businesses are being urged to strengthen succession planning, governance, and intergenerational wealth transfer.
We're taking successful businesses, large corporate family businesses, and trying to give them a chance to survive going to the second generation and the third generation. It's so hard to do that. Only 3 in 10 family businesses pass the baton to the second generation.
Firstly, is to see this program sustained over the years. And secondly, it would be nice to see these families prosper and pass on successfully their businesses to the next generation.
They note that succession planning should not just be limited to determining who inherits shares or assets, but also involve mentoring and preparing the next generation, as well as establishing structures that minimize conflict.
It is important for families to have these conversations early on, when the family has good relationships, when the business is doing well, and when things are progressing in a good manner.
They need to focus on is professionalization. It is corporate governance. So there's a leaning more towards the business, but they are not working towards what we know in theory is fundamental to family businesses. Yeah, in theory, we call it socio-emotional wealth. That is where the real issues are.
Family-owned businesses are being encouraged to identify the specific challenges affecting their enterprises to ensure their enterprises operate. Trevor into for Prime Edition.
Noodles and powder made from beans could be the next big product as the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization intensifies efforts to promote value addition of beans.
Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization National Coordinator for Grains and Legumes, Dr. David Karanja, says the agency is keen on connecting bean farmers with processes to enhance value addition and grow their incomes.
Here's that report.
Data shows Kenya produces about 650 tons of beans annually against a consumption of 750 tons. In addition, industries involved in the bean value addition import at least 200,000 metric tons of beans annually.
So tunakusudia karibu kaunti 12 sianze kujua mambo ya Waithera. Laikipia pia wamefanya testing, lakini sasa tunakusudia karibu wakulima 2,400 na kitu.
To scale production, the government is promoting proper agronomical practices and adoption of new high-yielding and disease-resistant varieties such as the Waithera variety.
We develop a variety called Waithera, we develop Angaza and others which are climate resilient, but at the high-yielding, high in iron, but at the same time good for the consumer, good for the farmer.
The training program, targeting 20,000 farmers from across counties of Nakuru, Nyeri, Nyandarua, Bomet and Elgeyo, involve best farming practices and aggregation. Dr. Karanja believes the Waithera bean variety could enable farmers harvest quality produce that can access the international market. Currently, a majority of Kenyan farm produce is facing difficulties accessing the European market over phytosanitary requirements. For KBC, Channel 1.
Get in continental football extra. KBC Channel 1 brings you of the 2026 Women's Actions WAFCON. 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August. Welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battle to defend their title against 15 other nations. The prestigious trophy. Who will of African football? Of youth affairs, creative economy and sports. Watch all the action and rally on KBC Channel. True sports partner.
Slim Nyarawendo SNA Radio Mayiga Mato Marwa.
Welcome back to business. Young innovators from arid and semi-arid regions are turning the challenges of drought and water scarcity into technological solutions.
Students from the counties of Wajir and Marsabit have innovated tools that provide farmers with early drought warning systems, giving communities more time to prepare irrigation systems, manage limited water resources, and protect crops and livestock before the onset of drought.
For students in Kenya's arid and semi-arid lands, drought and water scarcity are everyday challenges. In Wajir, 2 students have developed an artificial intelligence system that could help communities prepare for drought before it strikes.
In many cases, farmers usually realize when there is a serious problem after the crops have already started drying up.
The system uses sensors to monitor weather and soil conditions before analyzing the data to predict drought risks.
An artificial intelligence model analyzes the data that was collected from soil moisture sensor, temperature and humidity sensor, soil moisture temperature and rainfall sensor. So all this data is analyzed. After analyzing the data, there will be a drought score.
In Marsabit, another team is using automation to tackle water scarcity and food production through a smart garden that controls irrigation and temperature.
It's more of a greenhouse and environmental protection built into one structure. So we wanted to solve the problem of, in Marsabit, we have arid climate. So it causes food scarcity in our county.
The innovations earned the 2 teams the top national honors, with the Wajir students set to represent Kenya at the BT Young Scientist and Technology exhibit in Dublin. The 9th exhibition brought together 308 finalists from 125 schools, with the students showcasing challenges in agriculture, climate resilience, health, and other areas.
This year was one of our biggest numbers in recent years at 308 students, but we want to get to over 500 students next year so that we have a very large exhibition.
On to other news. Construction of the Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project is already transforming lives and businesses along the corridor, with residents and investors reaping from the multi-billion shillings infrastructure project.
The Isiolo Mandera Road, which is under construction, is stimulating investments ranging from small-scale family businesses to agricultural ventures as entrepreneurs anticipate increased trade, easier transportation, and greater connectivity once the project is completed.
Serikali ile maneno sasa, ile kitu wametuwekea ni barabara na kila kitu. Maendeleo mingi imekuja hapa Kachuru. Hatukuwa na maendeleo zamani, tulikuwa tunashangaa tuko upande gani, lakini saa hii serikali wametujua. Sasa barabara basi yote imekuja. Haya magari kidogo yote inakuja, iko magari. Saa hii tukienda Isiolo hata 30 minutes tumalizangi, tunaenda na kurudi. Jamani, tunaenda na tunarudi kesho.
Faida ile ambayo tunaona kwa hii njia ambayo inatengenezwa, wale watu ambao wanapita na njia hii wakiwa wanatoka pande ya Isiolo ama Garissa, wakipitia mahali hapa wananunua hizi nguo zangu. Na kuna wengine hata wanasimama hapa, kama ni simu mtu anasema awekewe kwa moto na anawekewa na sanjiwa analipa. Kwa hivyo, na hata hao watu ambao wanatengeneza hii njia, hao watu wa Kenya wanatutengenezea soko hapa Ndomoru, wanatutengenezea shule na maji.
Most transporters like to hike the prices, but once the road is done, the competition will increase and these prices will also reduce.
A record strength Super El Nino climate phenomenon sweeping across the Pacific could persist into early next year, raising fears of severe drought that threatens Thailand's rice harvests, rural livelihoods, and food security in one of the world's largest rice exporting nations.
In Thailand's rice-growing regions, generations of farmers who have long depended on predictable seasonal cycles are facing growing uncertainty as erratic weather patterns turn each plantation season into a gamble. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the borders.
In Thailand are being squeezed by the rising production cost, declining yields, and weak crop prices, with many struggling to keep their farms viable as water shortages intensify. Water scarcity has become the biggest challenge for rice growers, as prolonged dry spell leaves filled without enough moisture during critical stages of cultivations. Scientists warn that the expected Super El Nino could bring hotter temperatures and longer dry periods across Southeast Asia, potentially causing major losses to Thailand's agricultural sector, with analysts estimating rice output could fall by millions of tons. Meanwhile, persistent heat and drought have seriously impacted Italy's agriculture as concerns mount among grape growers over this year's yields. The grip of its fourth heatwave this summer, Italy has placed all 27 major cities monitored by Health Ministry under the highest level red alert for extreme heat for the first time this year. Italy's largest agricultural association says over 60% of the country's land is currently affected by drought. Authorities have identified water building of agricultural water conservancy infrastructure as key means to address it. But the allocation of funds and the implementation of projects have been hampered by slow administrative approvals. Finally, Iran's foreign minister has rejected the notion that his country is in direct negotiation with the United States, declaring that any formal talks remain impossible until the U.S. stops violating the terms of the interim peace deal signed in June. U.S. President Donald Trump said he is prepared to put more economic pressure on Iran as opposed to ordering a new military offensive, Recent strikes were aimed at Iran from attacking vessels crossing the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping pathway which has become a focal point for resolving the conflict. Iranian Foreign Minister says no formal talks are taking place between the two sides. Iran has reiterated that reopening the crucial waterway is contingent on U.S. agreeing to a sweeping set of conditions, including paying war damages and freezing Iranian assets and ending all aggressions against Iran and its allies in the region.
Let's now get sporty. Kenya finished second overall at the 2026 World Athletics Under-20 Championship in Oregon, United States of America, after an impressive medal haul that saw the country emerge as Africa's top-performing nation.
At the same time, Nairobi has formally submitted its bid to host the Senior World Athletics Championship in 2029.
Team Kenya medals, 4 gold, 3 silver and 4 bronze medals, finishing behind host the United States, who topped the standings with 24 medals. Kenya's strong performance was driven largely by its distance runners, with gold medals coming from Franklin Kibet, Emmanuel Kiprono, Wilson Chepkwech and Josephine Sebenyo Mancha. The 4 golds alongside 3 silver and 4 bronze medals secured Kenya's second place ahead of Italy, who finished third with 5 medals.
Najua nitaenda nayo juu training ile makojes hapo kambi Kasarani wametupigisha, imekuwa mzuri sana na mpaka naona mwili yangu ilikuwa mzuri, nimekimbia nikaona si mbaya.
Joto tu ni joto sana kulinganisha na Kenya, lakini mimi nimejaribu kwa siku ya leo. Mimi nashukuru kabisa, nimejaribu, nimeng'ang'ana yangu yote, nimejaribu kabisa.
I wish one day nikutana na Phil kwa race, nikimbia na yeye ni Phil Kenyatta na ligi. Yeah. Kama inawezekana naweza mshinda ni sawa, akinishinda atakuwa amenipia motisha. Challenge kutoka 600, kila mtu akang'ang'ana juu, kila mmoja alikuwa anataka kuwin race.
It's not easy for the kama World Under 20 na uende na silver. Aria ikamesumbua kidogo, lakini nikaenda mpaka mahali nikasema mpaka ni nang'ane hii nipate medal, so nimepeleka medal West Pokot.
Meanwhile, Nairobi has officially submitted its host the first ever Senior World Athletics Championship on African soil in 2029 with a robust government-backed bid. Kenya successfully hosted the 2007 World Cross Country Championship in Mombasa and under 20 athletics championships in 2017 and 2021 in Nairobi, as well as gold label events Cape Keino and Sirikwa Classics.
Malawi completed one of the greatest stories in the history of the CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations by defeating Ghana 2-1 to secure a historic place in the semi-finals, as well as qualify for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil for the first time.
Malawi will face Algeria in the semi-finals on Wednesday Cameroon edged out defending champions Nigeria 1-0 in a fiercely contested quarter-final to secure their place in the last four and qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup as well.
The indomitable Lionel goal in the 19th minute through Miriam Maeva to book their semi-final place against host Morocco.
Another chance to secure their World Cup qualification when they face South Africa in the playoffs, while the Black Queens of Ghana will face Cote d'Ivoire on Thursday.
Being given instructions. That's nice. Katseri in behind for Malawi. And for the Scorchers, who lead Ghana with less than 20 minutes to go, are the Women's World Cup bound. She just got. And didn't she take it well? Her second.
Dineth Fernando of Australia was winner of the 2026 World Youth Scrabble Championship, which culminated last evening in Nairobi as Taimur Wasin of Pakistan wrote his name in the history books with 2 consecutive titles.
Kenya may have missed out on the podium, but hosting the championship for the first time was widely celebrated as a monumental structural success for Scrabble Kenya.
The 2026 World Youth Scrabble Championship, which Kenya hosted for the first time, culminated at Trademark Hotel, Nairobi.
This event raises the profile of Kenya as a Scrabble destination. Being a first, we were the first country in Africa to host the Westpac, the seniors in Scrabble in 2017. And today we've become the first country in Africa as well to host the World Youth Scrabble. So we are up there in terms of hosting and preference in this event continentally.
After the grueling 24-round main tournament, 3 players finished tied at the top of the leaderboard with identical 18-6 records. Ultimately, Dineth Fernando of Australia secured the world title on a tiebreaker due to his superior cumulative point spread. United Kingdom's Crispin Samuel finished second, while India's Suyash Manchali finished third. Taimur Wasim of Pakistan made tournament history at this event by clinching the Under-10 title, making him the first player ever to hold consecutive Under-8 and Under-10 world titles.
I started Scrabble playing from 4 years, then I'm now 8 years old. It has been 4 years that I am playing Scrabble every day.
It's very, very good and very tough. I mean, these kids are so more impressive than us. Like, they are so much intelligence.
Eric Kiplangat and Millicent Jelimo emerged victorious in the men's and women's races, respectively, during the 4th edition of the Betika Uasin Gishu Half Marathon held in Eldoret.
Well, they produced a sterling performance to win the men's race in the 1 hour, 1 minute and 7 seconds, while Kiprono in 1 hour, 1 minute.
Gilbert Kip Kosgei completed the podium with a 3rd placing. In women's race, Jelimo crossed the finish line first in 1 hour, 10 minutes, narrowly beating Tabitha Njeri, who finished 2nd, followed by Viola Mune.
Ya leo haikuwa rahisi. Juu watu strong ndio walikuwa. So nilianzia nyuma kufika 4 kilometers nikafika mbele. Alafu nikafumbulia tu na watu wenye walikuwa mbele. Hadi kilomita ya mwisho ndio nikatoka.
Ya leo haikuwa mbaya. Niling'ang'ana mpaka nikakuwa mshindi wa kwanza. Sijawahi kuwa mshindi, lakini leo nimekuwa mshindi.
The winner of the women's half marathon za kilomita 20.
Well, the record Kenya Premier League champions, Gor Mahia, or Kogalo, as fondly referred to by many, and the newly promoted side Migori Youth will face off in the inaugural Green Legacy Charity Cup fixture on the 16th of this month. The venue is Nyayo National Stadium. Tutaenda.
Tutajua. I know you are a fan of football clubs
Kogalo.
locally here.
Local, yeah.
Kogalo to be
good,
specific, right?
Thank you. Good,
right.
Very nice, very nice.
Leave it when it lasts.
I might be there, so I'll remind you if you get time, you can come and support the local teams. Well, we've got to go now. On behalf of the Prime Edition team, as usual in the back end, you don't get to see them, you get to see her and myself. We want to thank you so much for watching. I'm Mboya.
I am Muchuma Erin. Hosting languages for tonight is Caroline Jeroge.
And we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night. Take care. God bless.
God bless you.
Killer. Well, she's still got possession. Nigeria on the attack. It's excellent play down that left-hand side. The shot comes in. Michele, the follow-up. Doesn't happen. Kanu can't get there. It all opened up over on that far side. Very dangerous indeed. But look, Cameroon now on the attack as a long searching ball goes out to the right-hand side. It has been kept in. There's the race towards the byline, still in possession. It goes out over. And it will be a goal kick for Nigeria, who breathe a sigh of relief after that wonderful run from Igulu.
We are.